Hello lovely people, I'm Catherine and welcome to this week's Journal for All Seasons. I'm going to do something really simple and I think really beautiful, so beautiful that I shared it with my daughter the other day when I saw it on Instagram, and she went home from work and did it straight away, and she's going to try and do it more regularly. I think it was Judith, hello Judith, in Canada, who first alerted me to this wonderful woman she's an English woman by her accent, but I think she lives up in Scotland, and she's called Emily Dubious. I don't think Dubious is her actual name, but that's her handle, I think they call it. Now she's got a YouTube channel and she's also on Instagram and I think TikTok, but I don't do TikTok so I wouldn't really know. And she does reels about beach finding, beach combing, beach finds, principally sea glass or... excuse me one moment. Stella, what are you doing? Thank you. Random, you've already had a walk. Sorry about that. That was Stella getting her collar. I don't know why, because she's already had a walk today. Sorry. And also my hair's wet, so I'm just having to get it out from behind me so it drapes over the back of the chair and dries a bit. Sorry. What was I saying? Yes, Emily Dubious. Yeah, so she makes these lovely little short videos or reels or whatever you call them, where she goes beach combing and picks up all little bits of sea glass and fancy coloured stones and things, and her commentary is just joyous. And I do know from a post of hers on Instagram recently that she suffers from mental health problems, as do many of us, and as a daily practice sometimes she tries to find a daily rainbow, and she did one on a walk that she went on in nature a little while ago, which was quite amusing because the orange that she found in the rainbow... Stella, stop it now. Sorry about my dog. The orange that she found was actually a poo bag, you know, a dog poo bag. So it doesn't have to be romantic and beautiful. It just means that if you're out and about on a walk or anywhere, you know, it could be in town or in countryside or whatever, you look for something in every colour of the rainbow. And recently she did one where she talked about sometimes we can't do our daily walk for our mental health because we just can't, you know, for whatever reason, or we are not up to it, or there are more practical reasons. But you can still find your daily rainbow just by going through some junk mail or an old magazine or something and looking for those colours. So that's what I'm going to do. Now in my journal I've got this page of eco print, and if I go sticking bright colours on there I think they'll be a bit lost. So I've got this bit of black craft paper, this random strip out of my scrap drawer, and I thought I'd stick my squares on here and then maybe tear it down a bit smaller and stick that on the page just to make them stand out. So I'll put my journal to one side for now. So I've got that, I've got my glue stick, and I've got my blunty scissors. And I didn't have any junk mail, amazingly, because the recycling went out recently and there hasn't been any since. I'm still getting it, even though I've done all the I've jumped through all the hoops you have to jump through here in the UK to stop it. You have to write and email various people. But anyway, it's not worked yet, and it was a few months ago, so I'm not really hopeful. But I was this morning doing my shopping, and in my local supermarket they had these free magazines. And so I picked one up and I've had a look through and, you know, read it and decided it's not really of interest to me. So I thought I'd use it for this. Yeah, other supermarkets are available, that's just the one that's local to me. So basically what she did and what I'm going to do is you just go through looking, you decide on your size and shape roughly. She had one of those punchy square punch things, you know, that punched out squares like maybe 1.5 inches or whatever. I don't have that, so I'm just going to go through and I calculate on here, because I need 7, that they can be about 1 inch-ish, and then they'll fit nicely. I'm going to just do them in a column. So I'm just going to go through this and pick out the colours of the rainbow as I see them, and I'm not going to look for one of each, I'm just going to pick them out and then later on decide which ones. So here's some green, for example. You've also got to be aware that you're not cutting anything fabulous away on the back. So I think actually to start with I'm just going to tear it out bigger, because that's quicker than cutting. Whoops, it is if this tears. And just roughly tear it out. That's lovely. She does, I do encourage you, I will link her Instagram, but you'll find her if you just put in Emily Dubious. Because her, what she says while she's doing it is, yeah, I just love her manner and the way she speaks and everything. So there's that green, far more jolly and interesting than me. So the scraps I'll put to one side and I'll put those there. So I'm just going to hope that I find the 7. There's some blue on this man's shirt. I'm just going to put the light on actually. The sun's gone in and it's gone. There we go. But he's got a towel over his shoulder, so we might have to come back to that. This is quite interesting for purple. Of course, the rainbow Richard of York gave battle in vain goes indigo violet. Emily does indigo as purple and violet as pink. But she calls pink pank. That's a thing of hers. She's even got t-shirts with it on. When she finds it on a beach or something, she goes, pank! It's, yeah. When she says it, it's funny. When I say it, it probably just sounds a bit ridiculous. So we'll have that. And something my daughter said was it's not intimidating. It's a creative thing to do, but it's not intimidating because you don't have to be artistic or anything like that. You can just do it, you know, you're just looking for colours. That's okay for red, but I'm not sure about the text on it. Oh, here's a lovely bright yellow. I don't know how to do it. I hope you don't mind the sound of paper tearing. I've torn into that now, but I'll be okay, I suppose. There we go. So I'm just really just looking for the colours. Here's some lovely green. Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. That's a big show that my kids loved. I believe there's more coming out imminently. I wonder if I can just tear it without the ruler even. I just want a chunk of it really. And yeah, I must say that I also enjoyed it. It's a bit weird. Clues in the name. A bit of green. Gone quiet because I'm looking. Here's some nice purple. Apologies if you're trying to read the magazine and I'm flipping it too quickly. So this morning I went out first thing to the supermarket, like I said, but the real reason I went into town was to pick up my new glasses, which I have now got, and you know, I've only just worn them for a couple of hours, but they my vision is much clearer. I think I said before that the optician said that my glasses that I had that were prescribed for me in France were too strong, quite significantly too strong. There's some nice red. So I am hopeful that you know, they'll be better. They seem better so far. And I will report back because I did mention that I had the, sorry, can't really talk when I'm playing. I had the, I paid extra for the anti-glare lenses, which they recommended because I have the very faint beginnings of cataracts and it filters the light. Even on a dull day, you know, it filters the light a little bit. But he said that they might help with those awful headlights, the awful if you're me, and I know many of you said the same. Here's a more nice purple. Let's have some more of that as well. You know, that the glare of those white lights that we have here. I think some of you did say you had them in other countries as well. Oh look, pank! Yeah, it's really, I don't know why it's so funny when she says it, and I even annoy myself when I say it. But anyway, we're going to have some of that. I hope you don't mind all the tearing. It is inevitable. And this here, is it yellow or is it green? It's a lovely vibrant colour, but I think it might be too betwixt and between. Whereas this is yellow, but it's quite sort of, I think it's some potatoes. Oh, here we go. Yellow and orange, look, 2 for 1. Advert for ginger beer. If we go there somewhere, and I must have a big enough bit of yellow, and down there. Whoops. This is really, you know, this is literally child's play. This would be a great exercise to do with kids. There's more purple, but I think I've already got that purple. I think that's the same. Yeah, it's the same as that. So I hope I'm not paying it. I don't think I've got any blue. Oh, I was just about to say I don't think I've got any blue, and then here comes Harry Enfield with his lovely blue shirt. So sorry, Harry, I'm going to have a bit of your blue shirt. I don't know why that says there. Oh, Harry Potterer. Okay, I've misread it, because that's distinctly not Harry Potter. It's Harry Enfield, who is an English comedian, if you don't know. Only Me was one of his more annoying characters. You have to tell me if you liked Harry Enfield back in the day. Is it the 90s? Yeah, 90s, 80s, something like that. See, that's a lovely colour, but it's teal, so it doesn't really feature. But, you know, if you're doing your own rainbow, you do you. If you want your rainbow to have teal in it, then you put teal in your rainbow. Turkeys. It's not coming up for a good time of year for turkeys, is it? Oh, look, Sudoku. No, we won't stop to do the Sudoku. And there we go. So I'm going to have a look and make sure I've got something of everything. I'm sure you all know different ways of remembering the spectrum. So Richard of York gave battle in vein. Although obviously that's pink. I might go for that purple just because it's a bit darker and makes that one look more pink. So that's great. So I've got those. I have that yellow instead with the words on, but I think I'm going to stick with the plain. Yeah, I think oh, I got that green with the herbs. No, I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with that. That'll do, pig. So that's all for, well, actually this larger body of it I'm going to use. I have glycerin some leaves. I've talked about that here and there in the last few weeks. And I finally caved and got some glycerin, and I've got them soaking. I need to get them out today to dry, so I shall next week show you them and tell you how I did it, and you know, we can talk about if it worked or not and what I might do with them. Right, so I need to get 1-inch squares out of these. I think I'm just going to do it by eye because I don't really mind if they're not exactly 1 inch. I think I might cut this first one out of this red. Obviously if you've got one of those handy dandy punches like Emily had, this will be much easier and more accurate, but I haven't, so. And I don't mind that it's got a bit of that white pattern on, that's absolutely fine. It is predominantly red. Which again makes me think of Riot Women, which I mentioned on here before if you're in the UK or you have ways of watching BBC programmes in other countries, because one of the main songs in it is called Red. I think quite a few of you said you'd watched it and enjoyed it. It's by the wonderful Sally Wainwright. I'm now using my red as a template to cut the others in case you had looked down because you were bored with watching me rip through magazines and you've gone back to your knitting, and who could blame you? Certainly not me. And that one's gone super wonky. Let's give him a little trim. Red, orange, we're getting the yellow out of here as well. Same thing as I said last time when I was doing whatever it was I was doing. Use the first template repeatedly rather than using a different piece every time because they might get progressively a different size. I think this is like watching paint dry, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut all these out because apparently I need to concentrate a bit and then I can't witter. Okay, I've cut all my squares out. This first one that I had for red, when I was cutting out the pink, it's the same colour. So I went back through and I found this advert for Lily's Kitchen pet food. Other pet foods are available, and I took a piece of the background of that here. It's now raining, so you can hear that hammering on the roof. Got a little birdie on it. So that's a better red, I thought, so I just changed my mind, which is perfectly fine. So now I'm just going to stick them on my bit of card, really. My bit of cut paper. It's not cardstock, it's just paper. So I'm just going to glue them with the glue stick. Not going to bother too much about precision or getting the glue nicely all over them. I'm going to just space them a little bit and then I can trim the card afterwards. Make sure I get them in the right order as per the rainbow. Yeah, so do go and check out Emily's Instagram if you're on Instagram, or look up her YouTube. I think she mostly does YouTube shorts, and it's possible that they're the same as her Instagram reels. I know some people do that. You know, some people that do reels, they put them on YouTube as a short. But I find her very amusing and uplifting to watch and listen to. Or tell me if you already know about her. Maybe you already watch her. And I just want to say thank you so much from both myself and Nancy for the response to Nancy's story that I read on Friday. And if you haven't watched Park Home Life on Friday, or you don't normally watch Park Home Life because, you know, fair enough, you're only interested in the stitching and the mixed media and you're not interested in me wittering on about whatever it is I witter on over there, or going camping or whatever. I'm just going to check Richard of your Gave Battle. Yeah, Indigo Violet. Or Indigo Pink. Then I strongly recommend that you go and listen to Nancy's beautiful story. In Friday's video, pull up a cup of tea, as Kelly on Book and Paper Arts would say, or a cup of coffee or whatever it is you like to drink, and you're knitting or you're stitching or whatever, and just sit and listen for, it's maybe half an hour, 40 minutes of me reading this beautiful story about the Bast sisters. It's absolutely wonderful. Right, there's the pank. Keep this handy because I need to stick it in my journal. I think I am going to tear that down a bit so it's sort of even Stevens. I often wonder who was Stephen, and was he particularly even, or was it just that his name rhymes with even? I don't know. I'll tear it carefully because my glue's not dry probably. And of course, if you've got a journal, then you can do this and put it in your journal, but if not, you can just do it as an exercise. You don't have to even stick it. You can just go through and look for the rainbow. I'm going to tear the bottom off as well. Oops, and that's gone super wonky. I'm going to have to trim that with the scissors now. That's because I didn't dare lean forward, because if I did, then my wet hair would have gone down behind my back. And yeah, I wash my hair once a week, there or thereabouts, unless unless it's summer or I get sweaty because I'm gardening or something like that. I do wash my hair. Some people wonder. You do get asked when you've got dreads if you wash it. It's one of the things you get asked. Yes, I do wash it once a week, and yes, I just let it dry naturally, and it does take quite a few hours to dry. So I generally do it on a day I'm not going out, or in summer it's easier, I just go and sit in the sun. But if I'm at home, I just have to sit with a towel around my shoulders while it dries. There we go. I'll just use a normal, well, you know, a normal eco hippy dippy shampoo, my son calls it. He likes using my shampoo when he stays here. He says it makes him smell like a hippie. I don't know what that smell is, but apparently he likes it. I think I'm just going to stick that. I need to stick it. I'm just going to stick it somewhere there with a glue stick. I have got some words pre-prepared. Not anything very exciting. I'm gluing directly onto my desk, which is naughty. Oh, you may be able to hear some ticking. I forgot to move it. I have been moving it the last few times. I got Fred automatic feeding thing, you know, it's got 2 little bowls and little flaps, and you set a timer and they pop up. I need that again in a minute. Because my neighbour, who usually feeds him when I'm away, has had an operation on her hand, and she still insisted that she could feed him. So I had an away appointment already, and over Christmas I'd be away for a couple of days. So I wanted to try it out first. Anyway, it works really well, it works really great, and I even now use it overnight, so it opens at 6 in the morning with his breakfast, so he doesn't come waking me up, and that's working brilliantly. But you may be able to hear it ticking because it just ticks all the time. It's just got a battery in it. I'll try and remember to move it next time. I was excited about my rainbow. So there's my lovely rainbow, and all I did was stamp the words Daily Rainbow, very blotchily and wonkily, and Emily Dubious, just to credit her. I think it's a whole tag on, it's a whole thing on Instagram, but it was from her that I got the idea, so credit where it's due. I always like to do that. So I'm just going to stick those on there with my glue stick. They're just on a bit of tea-dyed sketchbook paper, and I've inked the edges, of course. And that is, as they say, all she wrote. And I think that is just a lovely little exercise to do if you're feeling a bit blocked creatively or whatever. It's totally non-threatening. All you need is a glue stick, some scissors and magazines, or even just an old magazine, and don't even bother gluing them anywhere. Just go through and cut out your squares and then put them in the recycling. It's very much the process. So there we go, Daily Rainbow. Thank you so much, Emily Dubious. Go and listen to Friday's Park Home Life if you haven't already. I'm not normally bossy with you. This time I am, because Nancy's story is wonderful and you'll enjoy it. And thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to you joining me next time for more journaling tales. Lots of love. Bye bye. Kisses. Bye bye.